I know it's a lot of people saying that he deserves to go to jail. I don't necessarily feel that way, especially not for 10 years.
I'm gonna offer a point of contention so we can continue this conversation because I think that this is fascinating. So every person that's committed a crime ever, they can blame it on either not having a father, not having a mother present, not getting the tutelage, not getting the understanding, not getting or understanding the results, not understanding masculinity, frame, stoicism. At what point into adulthood is it your parents' issue versus as an adult identifying the situation that you are in, the toxicity that's in your environment, and being responsible for it? What you got for me? What's your thoughts on the subject?
My thoughts. I know it's a lot of people saying that he deserves to go to jail. I don't necessarily feel that way, especially not for 10 years. Honestly, I am a father, by the way,
Okay.
and I'm conscious of what I say to my son
Yep.
and how I talk to him, because you know, in our community we have a tough love thing. I feel like everybody in the black community, we feel like we need to be tough on our sons, especially because they're black men. And man, the way I watch Rampage, it makes me sad, man, because I would never talk to my son like that,
Mm.
and I would never allow my son to talk to me like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you were raised, but it sounds like you had a
I've
good
never
mental.
cussed. I never cussed in front of my
Exactly.
father.
Me either.
I've never cussed in front of my father. Shit, my mother either. If I said, oh my God, my mother would throw a chocolate from across the goddamn room, would pop me upside of my head. Shit, I'll be running like. But
Yep.
no, my pops, I would never even think of. But now at the same time, my pops never laid a hand on me. He never laid a hand on me. He talked to me. He was a lecturer. He would sit me down for hours and he would talk through things. But I know one thing's for sure is that my father publicly shaming me or making fun of me was the farthest thing from his mind. He never did that to me. And I think that, content is one thing. I don't see Raja signing off on this. I see him being I don't even know if victim is the right word. I think you might utilize the word victim because of the inevitable situation. But I don't know if a victim is the right word at the end of this because he's an adult man and he can make his own damn decisions at the end of the day. And at what percentage is his father actually responsible? That has to be assessed as well. So what percentage do you think that the concussion is responsible? Right? Because you said that he doesn't deserve to go to jail. I think he deserves to go to jail for sure. So what percentage of the concussion do you think is responsible? What percentage of of his father do you think is responsible? What percentage of the live stream do you think is responsible? And what percentage of the responsibility is Raja?
I would say 50 for the concussion.
50?
30, I would say, if not 40.
Have you ever had a concussion?
I have.
Okay,
football? I have. And I'll tell you, it's like, for me, it was like, because I'm also ex-military, and for me, it was like walking around in a constant state of drunkenness.
Mm.
You understand? Like you're lightheaded, you're sick, you might not always be aware of your strength in the moment.
True.
Sometimes.
But did you have enough faculties to say I need to sit my ass down?
I did.
Did you have enough faculties to say I don't need to drive today?
I was in Afghanistan, but yeah.
But you knew either you sat in the passenger seat and let your co-captain drive, or you were able to make decisions enough. So I don't know if 50. I think 50% is too large, bro. Now to say that it has, I think that 50%. I think at least 50% is Raja. Him.
You think 50
because
is
he's
Raja?
25. He's not 17 and below.
Do you understand the mental torment though? Like, okay, well, I would argue the fact that his dad might be 50%, because he got Raja, from what I understand, he got Raja from his mom. His mom abandoned him pretty much, and then his mom died. Right? Follow me, brother. His mom died. Then his father remarried. His father got divorced, because his stepmom didn't want Raja in the house, and his dad wanted his son.
Yep.
Rampage constantly throws. He threw it up in interviews. He throws it up on the live stream. But he says it as a joke. But that kind of mental torment on a child. I understand he's 25, but I'm sure he's been saying that since the guy was a kid. You know,
So
you're the reason my marriage fell.
I'm gonna offer
The
I'm gonna offer a point of contention so we can continue this conversation because I think that this is fascinating. So every person that's committed a crime ever, they can blame it on either not having a father, not having a mother present, not getting the tutelage, not getting the understanding, not getting or understanding the results, not understanding masculinity, frame, stoicism, not attaching themselves to a YouTube, right? Like, at what point into adulthood is it your parents' issue versus as an adult identifying the situation that you are in, the toxicity that's in your environment, and being responsible for it? He's 25. 50, I think, is large as shit for 25. If he almost killed a man at 16, 17, we might have a different conversation. But at almost 25, that 20-something, when you fight every day, you know how strong that you are. You know how powerful that your hands are. And you know after the first hit, let's say he slammed them on the ground, he didn't know that he was unconscious. We see that in UFC all of the time. They'll slam him on the ground or they'll hit him and they'll follow up immediately. Let's say that he slammed him on the ground, didn't know that he was unconscious. Let's say that he then took a right and rained it down up in him, broke his orbital bone. I think he still would have been okay. But to go 20 more? Now I understand when you try to place back, like how much of the blows that he was raining down was not really meant for Psycho Stu. They were actually meant for the way that his father deals with him, the way that the chat deals with him.
Yeah.
Whatever other insecurities that he has in not being strong, not being viewed as a man, not rolling within the likeness of his father. I don't think any of those blows were actually meant for Psycho Stu. Now, if that's what your argument is, I can rock with you there. But to say inevitably, as a grown-ass 25-year-old man, you make a decision that almost kills somebody, flat out, almost killed him, agonal breathing. With those hands, I can't do 50, bro. But anyway, if you want to add more evidence to prove that point, or if you want to change your position.
No, because you kind of put it in perspective right there. Oh, man. I just know how it is to be concussed.
Yeah.
And I've wrestled. And so I do understand that you don't know your own. I understand that he's a trained fighter.
Yeah.
But you're concussed. You don't know how strong you are sometimes. You don't know how you might black out. I've blacked out. And I've walked around not knowing I had a concussion. But I would have these spills where I would black out. So I want to give him the benefit of the doubt in the fact that maybe he didn't understand in the moment how hard he was going. He just wanted to get it off. But
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. And a lot of people don't understand the extent of mental health issues or crises, or you can look at someone and they look healthy, but their mind is sick. And I acknowledge that. My issue with that is his response as he walked down that street.
Yeah, he was having a breakdown. He was having a mental breakdown.
But he acknowledged a few things there, which is not going to be good. He acknowledged that he didn't feel the can that Psycho Stu put on him in the beginning. He acknowledged that it didn't hurt. He acknowledged that his feelings were hurt. He also acknowledged, or he heard, that the guy was flatlined. What was his response? My bad. So it's not like he said, flatline, how? He said, my bad.
Yeah.
He didn't say, wait, flatline. So he might have blacked out in the moment in terms of emotional response, but he knew what he did.
But you think he was in control, you think? So you think 10 years, though?
Oh, I didn't say a time.
What do you think? If you had to say,
it's tough for me to say unless we hear more. I want to hear more information But I'll give you
Yeah.
my rough estimate. I
What's that?
think he's going to get, it depends on the amount of charges, but I think he's going to at least, I think he's going to be sentenced to about, I think 3 to 5. He's going to be sentenced.
3 or 5.
And I say that because he's a first time offender. If they can bring like experts, like concussion, I don't know, they like a brain surgeon, whatever they call those doctors, like experts as far as what concussions can do to people.
Neurologist, yeah.
And if they also bring in like maybe behavioral therapists, right? Like I would think that now the defense is going to wipe Rampage clean. This is going to be millions of dollars, if not for civilly, criminally for sure. Civilly, all of the people and all of the audience people that are down up in there, like I suffered some type of emotional neurologist. Thank you, whoever said in the chat. I suffered some type of emotional issue because I watched him almost kill a man, things like that. And it sucks because, as a father, and you could speak to this because I'm not a father, but you can speak to this. You invest into your children, hopefully so that they can not only be the image or the likeness of you, but that they'd be a better version of you.
Better version.
And
Definitely.
there's no doubt in my mind that Rampage has that thought. But due to his missteps as a father, now Rampage the whole family's gonna have to suffer. And that's the fucked up thing about this entire thing, that everybody has to suffer because of a couple of these ill-fated steps, right? Not talking to him about sitting your ass down even after concussion. Shit, Rampage probably suffered concussion after concussion in his MMA journey as well. But also because of the bullying, what could be perceived as the bullying of his father, public bullying, is that they all going to have to suffer from this. Do you think that they signed a consent? Do you think Raja signed a form before he got in there?
I would believe so if the company, when to cover themselves, yeah.
Yeah, I think that consent forms don't give a fuck about breaking the law, right? It's sort of like NDA forms. Shout out to Shannon Sharp. Sign the NDA form with a whole. That shit don't go out. That shit goes out the window at the point that something illegal happens. It doesn't matter.
Okay, that's fair.
Let me ask you one final question.
What's that, brother?
If this was your son,
I feel like I failed as a father. Yeah.
That's real. All right, my brother. Thank you so much for calling in, man. I appreciate your thoughts, man. Thank you so much for the support of the channel. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Trained pro wrestler waiting in Zoom under Brandon Gates. I have some thoughts and some insights. All right, my brother. Okay. Brandon, how are you, man? So you fight,
pretty
brother.
Good. Yeah, I do. I haven't been in the ring for a while, but I'm professionally trained, and I trained in professional wrestling back in San Antonio, Texas for about 7 years. And after a injury, I had to take some time out of the ring. So I definitely have some thoughts.
Have you fought pro or amateur?
Pro.
Okay, what weight class?
I currently, well, not necessarily pro. I'm talking about pro wrestling, like WWE style wrestling, as in the type of wrestling that we just saw and that we're currently talking about.
Now, let me ask you another question. Are you familiar with the school prior to it going viral like this?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Rikishi and Rikishi School. He's been around for quite some time. And one of the major things that I'd like to point out moving into this incident is one of the famous quotes about pro wrestling in general is that controversy creates cash.
Okay.
So it's bringing people like yourself on your channel who don't even talk about wrestling, who hasn't talked about wrestling. There's so many people who are just talking about it that haven't even had a word of a professional wrestler coming out of their mouths up until this incident.
True, but I don't know where you're going with this, because I understand that, whether it's good news or it's bad news, right? Controversy sells, but at the same time, not if it does away with your organization. If your organization is found liable for some of what happened and it gets dissolved and everybody loses their jobs because it is no longer in existence.
Correct. So there were some other individuals, because I've been watching from the start of the stream, who've been using some of the terms of the business like a work. So a work is a term
including me.
I've said that. Used. Yes. So it's commonly used for terms for anything that that everyone's in on in the business.
Sure.
So, for example, like WWE removing their association with the promotion through the WWID partnership. So that could be considered a work because now it's bringing more eyes to the business.
True, but I guess
And
what
then in
is
terms
that?
of
Yeah, but what happened here is not a work. So I guess I don't understand what it is that you're getting at.
speculation.
Because, okay,
Okay, think about it like this.
So you think that this was a setup?
Yes, 100%.
To what degree? Did Psycho Stu in on it?
Yeah, of course. You got to be able to take a punch. You got to be able to take a beating.
Wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Do you so legitimately your
you know
argument
what you're
is
signing up for. You know what you're signing up for the moment you step in that ring. Anytime you step in that ring, it is a privilege. And any day that you step in that ring may be your last. You never know what day you're gonna step in that ring for the last time. And one of those things is like, think about it like this. So there hasn't been an arrest yet. Why? There hasn't been any official updates from any hospitals stating his current condition.
I will say the arrest thing is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. There was a full-blown
fair
assault.
Point. Fair point.
On camera, a full-blown assault on camera.
Yeah, but also too, how quickly does California arrest people for assaults?
Quickly. I mean, in most cases where there have been fans that have jumped in the ring,
now here's the thing:
arrested.
No, I mean like after the fact, because he ran out the building before the cops got there. Now, here's the thing.
True.
It's not that quickly. In fact, they may never find the person. The big difference here is that he's a public figure, so it's easy to find him. And it has the eyes of so many people in the public, public outcry. But to your point, it is odd. Now, I would guess that he's going to get arrested by sometime today. If Rampage don't put him on a private flight to Bermuda.
I'd expect to see him showing up soon, like in some sort of capacitance within the promotion. There's going to be drama. There's going to be controversy. There's going to be eyeballs. There's going to be money. Think about all of the money and all of the revenue and all of the talk that is going on around this incident currently that's just generating potential profit.
Yeah, I mean, it probably will generate money from the problem, but it's also going to ruin people's lives. I
wouldn't necessarily say that.
You don't think Raja's life is ruined?
No, especially if he's going to take his reputation further down the line of professional wrestling and professional fighting, because in the event of, like, why do you think that it's a quote unquote cover up with the school being silent, any of the wrestlers being silent?
So let me ask you a question then, because I'm beginning to question your own morality. So you'd be okay with either A, losing 7 teeth in your mouth, getting knocked unconscious, embarrassed in front of your friends, your family, probably losing some of your cognition and memory forming skills for forever. You'd be okay if you had a financial benefit at the end of it?
Hey, that's one thing that I've always pondered about.
Wait, hold on. Yes or no, brother? Wait, don't add any more context on that question. Yes or no? Would you be okay with that?
Me personally?
Yes.
No.
Okay. So
hold
okay.
On,
now listen, hold on. Before you give me the hold on with a bunch of context, let's flip it. Would you be okay with your ruining whatever money your father or your family has made to provide legacy from generations to come? Would you be okay with potentially removing all of that? Potentially getting 5+ years for ag assault? Because you already know they're going to try to throw the book at him. For ag, well, maybe not. Maybe Kali might actually help him. But would you be willing to throw away all of that for the chance that you can come back later and collect some money, or for more clout on your Kick live streams? How does that make sense?
I'm under the opinion that it is still a setup, that it is still a work.
No, but would you do that as a pro wrestler?
I do it?
Yes.
Well, and it depends on what type of contract we're talking about.
Whoa.
And it depends on what the payout is. It depends on what you sign on the dotted line and what's guaranteed to you. These are all things that happen behind closed doors.
Brother,
Yeah, I know. Ugh.
What type of money would you take to ruin your family's legacy?
It depends. A couple million,
Oh, Jesus.
maybe more. Hey, it depends. Like I said, these are all things that are agreed upon behind closed doors before the event even started. In the event of it being a work. Now, in the event of it not being a work, that's a whole different ballgame, because there are definitely times where lines have been crossed. Like, have you heard of the situation between Edge and Lita back in the day with the wrestler Matt Hardy, the Hardy Boys, and Edge?
Wait, hold on. Before we go to another
Edge,
situation, just real quick, just before we go, because
Yeah.
I'm not a wrestling channel, so no, I don't know a lot of these different things. So you think that the reason that this is a work is because you would accept a couple $1 million and no one and he hasn't been arrested as of yet? Is there any other reason why you think that is completely fabricated or made up?
Correct. In the event of it being a work, or correction, in the event of it not being a work, so in the event of it being fake, not necessarily fake, but in the event of it being real and the assault was real, yeah, he should get everything that's coming to him. But I am definitely under the impression that it is not.
Okay.
Due to the lack of information that's happening right now. Like, for
Okay.
example, the dude that jumped Seth Rollins on TV, like the fan, he got arrested and charged the same night.
Yeah.
And he's not a public figure. Anybody that's ballsy enough to jump in there and do something has instant ramifications coming their way if it's not scripted.
But we can assume that the LAPD is not a part of the work. So whether or not they arrested him or did
Why
not
they're
arrest
doing
him,
an investigation.
whether or not they're doing work on it or not, or excuse me, whether or not they're going to arrest him tonight or tomorrow, to me doesn't matter. The fact is that they will eventually come for him. So I don't know. Like, I just, if you want to be the conspiracy theorist, I don't think that it's a work whatsoever. I think that it's the culmination of all the things that we've talked about within this stream. That I don't have to repeat. I don't have to go over again. I think that it's interesting that people think that it's still completely made up. Now, is it not to say that some people will not benefit off of the situation? Yep, some people will. But do I think that more people directly involved in the situation are going to negatively, right? They will receive consequences, dire consequences from both families, forever changed? I don't think that it was a setup when it comes to that. I think that this was way deeper than that. Nevertheless, my brother, I appreciate you for sharing your thoughts. The chat didn't like the ways that you were going, but nevertheless, I appreciate a nuanced perspective. All right?
Absolutely, 100%.
All right. Thanks, brother.
You don't wanna see me get vexed. Bars on your phone, tell a man you can't jet. The big the ones who can't stretch. Breaking the neck when we in the car next. You don't wanna see me get vexed. Bars on your phone, tell a man you can't jet. The big the ones who can't stretch. Breaking the neck when we in the car next. Dead bars, need defibrillation ASAP. Get boxed with a straight gap. I'm reminded of mind state they lack. Every time that they incline, we go way back. All they wanna be is just